Hello students, welcome to all in the social science class. Dear students, in the second part of the chapter, we shall learn about industries. When we talk about industries broadly in India, industries can be divided agro-based industries and mineral-based industries. Dear students, today in this module we are going to discuss about agro-based industries. These are those industries which obtain raw material from agricultural sector. Among the agro-based industries, we have cotton textile industries, jute industry and sugar industry. Let's first discuss about textile industry. Textile industry occupies a unique position in the Indian economy. The reason is it contributes significantly to industrial production, that is 14%. Second one is employment generation. It is the second largest industry after agriculture and provide employment to near about 35 million persons, and foreign exchange earnings, which is very much needed for the country. Now, if we look at the contribution made by the textile industry, it contributes 2.3% to India's GDP, that is gross domestic product, which means the income is coming from all the goods and services that produced in a country. Then 7% of the country's manufacturing production and 13% of the country's export earnings. That is why it is playing a very important role. Then it is the only industry which is completely self-reliant. So it is self-reliant and complete in value chain because we are able to produce right from raw material, that is cotton, to the final product completely within our country. Next, it provides living to one is farmers because cotton is cultivated in all over India in majority of states. Next, so that is the cotton ball pluckers. They get jobs. Once the cotton balls are plucked, they go to the industries. There is first process is ginning. Ginning means removing seeds from cotton. That seeds are also useful because oil is extracted, which is again edible, or sometimes some food is made for animals. Some fodder materials made for the animals out of it. Once ginning is done, then it goes for spinning. Spinning means making yarn out of it. Yarn means thread. Then weaving is making cloth out of it. Then dyeing is coloring. Then designing, packaging, tailoring and sewing. So many people are engaged in different activities. Apart from that, there are ancillary industries, that is industries that supports like chemicals and dyes, packaging materials and even engineering works, and that is why textile industry occupies a unique position in Indian economy. Dear students, if we talk about the history of cotton textile in India, then we can say that from the very beginning, cotton textile were introduced with hand spinning and handloom weaving techniques. After the 18th century, powerlooms came into use. The first successful textile mill was established in Mumbai in 1854. Our traditional industries suffered a lot during the colonial period because they could not compete with the mill-made cloth from England. There were 1946 cotton and human-made fiber textile mills in our country as on 13th November 2011. About 80% of these are in the private sector and rest in the public and cooperative sectors. Now, moving ahead in India, the states that flourished in textile industries are Maharashtra and Gujarat. Now, the reason behind that are, first of all, availability of raw cotton. Say, mainly in Maharashtra, it is Mumbai, or if it is Gujarat, it is Ahmedabad. So, very easily these places could get the raw material from Maharashtra and Gujarat because they produce cotton on a large scale. Next one is transport facilities. They are well connected to the hinterland, means areas from where they can get the raw material. Then market. Market here means demand, that is a good demand of all over the world for the cloth or even yarn. Yarn means to say thread that is produced in our country. So we can say that the products have a great demand in the national and international market. Then it is labor. In our country, we easily get cheap labor force and they are supported by migrant laborers, that are laborers coming from North India, especially Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Odisha. They come to the work. So we easily get cheap labor. Then moist climate. Moist climate is one more factor. Actually, the southern part of India, if we take below Tropic of Cancer, has tropical climate, and apart from that, since it is close to the sea or it is surrounded by sea, is moisture. So cotton grows well in warm and moist climate where summers is long and where there is salinity in the soil. So these factors add up, and that is the reason Maharashtra and Gujarat developed in textile industry. But actually saying, if it is the state, that is Maharashtra, Gujarat and Tamil Nadu. In Maharashtra it is Mumbai, but of course the industries from Mumbai had shifted out because Mumbai is changing into a tertiary sector completely. Then it is Gujarat, and in Gujarat it is Ahmedabad. If it is Tamil Nadu, it is Coimbatore. But today these industries are found in all cities, all important places within our country. Now, what are the drawbacks? What are the minus points? When it comes to this industry, we have made good progress. When it comes to production of cotton, and in India, we mainly produce long staple cotton. Now, what do we understand by long staple cotton? Based on the length of the fiber, it is called short staple, medium staple and long staple. And obviously, the long staple is the best one. And if we see proportionately, the long staple cotton production is more than the short or medium staple cotton. So we have achieved progress is in the area. But the other things are that the part supply is erratic. Erratic means to say uncertain. That is, in our country, power supply is uncertain, or you can say erratic. So that is the problem faced by most of the major parts of the country. Then machinery needs to be upgraded because there are many areas where the machines that are used are old and updated. Say the industry was established 30 years ago. Then the machines are also 30 years old. Then low output of labor. Then stiff competition with synthetic fiber. Synthetic fiber means the one that comes from petrochemical industries, like it is nylon or polyester. So there is a competition with them. These are all some drawbacks. After all these drawbacks, the important one is, now we have already seen that our country produces cotton on a large scale. Actually, we rank number 1 in the world when it comes to production, but all that cotton that is produced is utilizing in making yarn. So our spinning mills are competitive at the global level and capable of using all the fiber that we produce. The weaving means the making clothes, knitting and processing units cannot use most of this yarn. Now we are producing yarn on a large scale, but we are not able to use the yarn or thread. While it is so, the reason is most of this yarn, good quality yarn, is exported. So it is not available to Indian industries. So what they get is the poor quality, because of good ones are of picked up by the developed nations. There are some large and modern factories are of course in this segment, but most of the production is in the fragmented small units which cater to local markets. So mostly if you see, the production is in the form of small units, small scale industries where they will have 5, 10, 15 machines, power looms, and with the help of that there is production, and this mismatch is a major drawback for the industry. Dear students, our next industry is Jute Textile. Talking about Jute Textiles, India is the largest producer of raw jute and jute goods. Our country ranks second as an exporter of jute and jute products after Bangladesh. So when it comes to export, Bangladesh ranks first. There are near about 80 jute mills in India. The first jute mill in our country was set up near Kolkata in 1855 at Rishra. After the partition of 1947, our country, the jute mills remain in India, but a very large part of jute producing area went to Bangladesh, which was earlier known as Pakistan. Dear students, most of the jute mills in India are located in West Bengal. The reason is India 70% of the production comes from West Bengal and rest of it from the neighboring states. Now in West Bengal, they are mainly located among the bank of the river Hooghly, and that is a narrow belt and that is very useful for the production of jute. So the question that is asked is, what are the factors that are responsible for the location of these textiles industry in Hooghly basin? When we say river basin is the area covered by the main river and tributaries, that area nearby it. So why is it so? The reason is proximity of the jute producing areas. Proximity means closeness. Jute is produced around Hooghly river. Next, that is inexpensive water transport. Water transport is the cheapest mode of transport because the fuel required by the ships or boats is less and waterways naturally available. Hardly any maintenance is required. That's why it is the cheapest mode of transport. Good network of railways, roads, waterways, all these are facilitates the movements of raw materials to the mills. Then there is abundant water available in processing of raw jute. Because jute, first of all, it takes about 8 months to grow. It is tall, thin and stem like. So they cut it and they have to soak it into the water so that the outer layer gets decomposed. Then that raw jute is to be cleaned in water and they have to dry it. So for all this processing work they required a lot of water and that is available in West Bengal. cheap labor from West Bengal and even adjoining states. Adjoining states means it can be UP, it can be Bihar, Jharkhand. They easily get cheap labor. So, these are the factors that are responsible for location in Hooghly Basin. Moving ahead. So, what are the challenges faced by jute industry? So, first of all, competition from other jute growing industries like Bangladesh, Brazil, Philippines, Egypt and Thailand. The second one is stiff competition in the international market from synthetic substitutes. So they can use plastic or something else, and they are making instead of making jute bags, they will make bags out of synthetic materials, and that is cheaper. So in this way there is tough competition. So these are the challenges faced by the jute industry. But the good thing is demand is on increase because there is a growing global concern for environment friendly biodegradable materials. So that has increased. That's the good thing. Next, government policies which have made it mandatory, that is compulsory, to jute packaging. The main market for jute is USA, Canada, Ghana, Saudi Arabia, UK and Australia. So that is about jute industries. Dear students, let's talk about sugar industries. Now, sugar industry, India ranked second in the world because the country which is first is Brazil. Whatever sugarcane is produced in the world, 50% comes from Brazil and around 20 to 25% from India. But when it is production of gur and khandsari, it is jaggery actually, it ranks first. So in India, actually gur and khandsari production is more than the sugar. Now about this industry, this is a raw material oriented industry. Now what do we understand this? This means that whichever regions produced sugarcane, near those areas only we will find sugar industry. So sugar industries are established near the sugarcane producing areas. That is why they are called raw material oriented industry. Now the raw material that is used in this industry is, first of all, heavy and bulky. Bulky means it takes a lot of space. Next, that is the cost of transportation of raw material is more than that the cost of transportation of finished goods, because from the sugarcane producing areas, if we carrying 10 trucks of sugarcane to the sugar mill, finally we will get only 1 truck of sugar. So the cost of the transportation of raw material is more than the cost of transportation of the finished products, and this is the weight losing industry. Now one more thing about this industry is, once the sugarcane cut, within 24 hours sugarcane should be taken to the mills and juice must be extracted and it should be converted to sugar. The reason is, gradually within the sugarcane the sucrose content is lost. Actually the bonds of sucrose break, so it is losing its sweetness. Then what will happen is, the amount of sugar we will get from sugarcane will reduce. That's why as early as possible, as soon as it is cut, as early as possible it should be taken to sugar mills and converted into sugar. Now this industry is one more drawback, that is seasonal in nature, and that is why it is ideally suited for cooperative sector. So when we say this industry is seasonal, this means is that in the rainy season this industry is completely closed. So around 4 to 5 months the industry is closed. So the people who are working there cannot be utilized throughout the year, and that is why this industry works well in the cooperative sector, because in cooperative sector that is a kind of partnership between the sugarcane growing farmers and the sugar mills. So the temporarily labor is needed, is provided by the sugarcane producing farmers, and the profits are shared. That's why this industry is in cooperative sector, and in cooperative sector Maharashtra is doing the best. 60% of the mills in India are in Uttar Pradesh and other one is Bihar. The mills are located in other places like Maharashtra, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana also. Even if you go, it is a Punjab, Haryana, like that. Now, in this one question is asked, that is, in recent years, there is a tendency for the sugar mills to shift and concentrate in the southern and western states. Why is it so? Simple. When we come towards south, south is tropical region, unlike the temperate areas of UP, where winter is very severe, which is not good for crop. But in south, it is not so. So it is a longer duration for growing, as it is sugarcane take 1 year to grow completely, and in south it can grow without any disturbance. So here the points are: first, this is because sugarcane producing here has higher sucrose content. From sugarcane in India we get from Tamil Nadu, so that the best sugarcane grown in India is Tamil Nadu. The sucrose content is almost double when we talk about south part. In the south, the cooler climate also ensure a longer crushing season. Unlike the north, South India, it does not have very cool climate. Winter is very mild, and this ensures a longer crushing season. Moreover, the cooperatives are more successful in Maharashtra, nearby states, and that is the tendency among the industries to shift in south. But still, even now, Uttar Pradesh ranks first in sugar production. The reason is there, in the last few years, Deccan regions of India, southern part, have experienced drought conditions. Let's discuss what are the major challenges of this industry. One is seasonal nature of the industry. I have already told you that the rainy season cannot cut sugarcane, so the mills are closed. Old and inefficient methods of production, because most of the industries in India, supposing they are established 30 years ago, the machines are also 30 years ago. Moreover, the cooperatives are successful in certain states like Maharashtra. Transport delay in reaching cane to the factories. So if there is a delay, there will be reduction in the sugar that is derived out of it. Next, that is, we need to maximize the use of bagasse. But what is done is that we dumped it out like waste in the open dumping. It smells very badly, but this can be used for making paper, or it can be used as a fuel. So, dear students, in this module we have discussed three main agro-based industries, that is textile industry, jute industry and sugar industry. We have also studied about the contribution of these industries in the economy of one nation. Finally, we go through the major challenges faced by these industries and discussed how can we overcome these challenges so that our country economically be advanced. Thank you. Stay blessed. Stay happy.